Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment your thoughts, share this story, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next tale. I've always loved the woods, the way they wrap around you, sheltering you from the outside world. But there's a darkness lurking between the trees, one you can't always see. A few summers ago, my friends and I set out for a weekend camping trip in a lesser-known part of the forest, a place rumored to be haunted. We laughed off the stories, brushing aside any fears as childish tales. As we set up camp, the sun began to sink behind the towering pines, casting long, twisted shadows. "Did you hear that?" Jake asked suddenly, breaking our banter. We all paused, a chill sweeping through the air. It was just the wind, right? The rustling leaves, a branch snapping. But then came a faint whisper. "Probably just some animal," I said, trying to sound confident. But unease settled like a heavy fog over us. That night, huddled around the fire, we shared urban legends, stories of lost hikers and ghostly apparitions. I noticed something strange in the flickering light, a shape darting behind the trees just beyond the fire's reach. As we turned in, the night deepened. The only sounds were our shallow breaths and the crackling of the dying fire. I couldn't sleep. The whispering returned, closer this time. It echoed through the trees, a soft plea laced with danger. "Help," it seemed to say, beckoning me deeper into the forest. I convinced myself it was my imagination, the stories playing tricks on my mind. When morning broke, excitement filled us again, but something had shifted. Jake looked pale, his eyes wide. "I can't shake it off," he murmured. "It's like something followed me." "Why would you even say that?" I laughed nervously, but the words lingered. We decided to hike down a beaten path, eager for adventure. But the deeper we went, the more it felt like the woods were alive, shifting and surrounding us. Shadows danced just out of sight. The air turned colder. Then we heard it, a rustling, heavier than the wind, behind a curtain of low-hanging branches. "Stay close," I warned, but my voice quivered as fear gripped me. We crept forward, adrenaline coursing through our veins. As we neared the source, the world fell silent. Every bird, every rustle ceased, replaced by a pause that hung heavy in the air. Then we saw it, crouched low, obscured by the bushes. It turned its grotesque head toward us, eyes sunken and hollow. "Help me," it rasped, voice echoing the whisper from last night. But this time, it was laced with something else, pain, a hunger for release. It beckoned, but a chill curled my spine. We ran, hearts pounding, branches clawing at our clothes. We burst into the clearing where our campsite should have been. But the tent was gone, the fire cold and gray ash. Panic surged as the whispers grew louder. The shadows stretched forward, consuming everything. "Where's the tent? Where's everyone?" I gasped. The figure emerged from the trees, grotesquely clear now, moving toward us with unnatural speed. "Run!" I yelled, grabbing Jake's arm. The ground twisted beneath us, roots rising like hands, trying to drag us down. We were lost in a maze, every frantic step leading nowhere. The whispers turned into shrieks, the woods closing in, a cacophony of sound. Finally, we stumbled out of the trees onto a road. Our hearts raced. We waited for a car, for anything. Just as the sun began to set, a truck appeared. Relieved, we flagged it down until we froze. Behind the wheel was someone we didn't recognize. Someone with sunken eyes and a twisted smile. Just passing by, or maybe you've always been here, he grinned. The whispers enveloped us once more, promising we would never escape. The truck halted, gravel crunching under its tires. The stranger leaned out, his grin stretching too wide to be human. "Need a lift?" he asked, voice smooth but dripping with something sinister. "Just take us home, please," Jake shouted, his voice cracking. The shadows crept closer, ready to swallow us whole. The driver's smile widened even further, eyes flickering with madness. "You're not really meant to leave, you know," he cooed. "The woods like you." "Get back!" Jake yelled, pulling me away. But the shadows swirled, wrapping around his ankles like ivy. I tugged at him, but the cold seeped into my bones, rooting me to the spot. "No!" I screamed, my voice lost in the shrieking forest. The truck's engine growled, low, rumbling. The driver leaned closer, eyes gleaming with hunger. "You can't deny your fate. You're part of it now." The door swung open, shadows leapt out from the depths. Ghostly figures poured into the clearing, faces twisted in terror, mouths frozen in silent screams. "Oh God!" I choked as the reality crashed over me. The lost souls reached out, bony fingers desperate for companionship. Jake tugged at me again. "We need to retrace our steps." But the driver waved us off, his eyes flickering like dying stars. "You can't outrun what's been called," he whispered. The shadows surged forward, a wall of darkness crashing down. The whispering coalesced into a single wail, seeping into our very essence. "Stay with me," Jake screamed, pulling me closer. The shadows clawed at our flesh, desperate to claim us. We wrestled against the tide of souls, running against time itself. Branches twisted into our path, blocking every escape. Suddenly, the crouched figure appeared again, its eyes glimmering with hunger. "Help me!" it howled, voice heavy with betrayal and desperation. Jake and I shared a single horrified glance. Then we charged forward, driven by primal fear. But deep down, I knew the woods had taken root inside us. Every laugh we once shared now felt distant, like echoes of another life. The shadows whispered promises of freedom, eternal release. For a moment, I felt my will waver. "Remember who you are!" Jake shouted, his voice sliced through the fog, breaking the spell. I clung to that tether of hope and ran toward the last glimmer of the road. Behind us, the woods screamed with rage. A deafening howl exploded in the darkness. The truck, the driver, the forest itself, all swallowed by shadow. The road stretched before us, offering escape, but the woods had already marked us. The whispers faded, yet lingered like an echo, a promise that they would always be waiting. The woods had their way of returning, and I knew it wasn't just the wind in the trees. It was them, always them. The end is never truly an end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment your thoughts, share this story, and activate the notification bell so you never miss the next one.